so I was in middle school. Just I was the only kid in my area that did it, and I'm just that kind of person, I think, anyway, where it was like, okay, people making fun of me just made me want to do it even more. So that's pretty much where that came from, out of spite. And then linked up with Sarah, who's still one of my very best friends, Lady Essence, or she goes by Sarah Violet now. And we just started. I mean, I guess to get further into detail with it, I put out a couple little songs with one of those little microphones that you like fucking take the sticker off the back and stick onto your desk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just floated them around, and Braden Biddings who ran madehiphop.com, ended up hearing it and putting it on like the cover page of the website. And that, to me, that was like the biggest thing in the world at the time. I thought I like made it, you know what I mean? So kind of gave me a little bit of self-esteem with it. And then I ended up he had a studio on Park Ave in Portland, and I ended up going over there quite a bit and recording some things, and then just kind of got into the mix. And next thing you know, he's sneaking me underage into clubs, making pretend I'm like a photographer, so I can pop out on the mic. But yeah, it's been a long time, man. I got a lot of stories.
Yeah, same. That the mainhiphop.com connection. I was on that fucking website too, man. 2000.
Oh yeah.
2000.
Yeah, man. There wasn't much of a source for people who were into that shit back then.
I was on there, like, and that's how I linked up with Remy, with Young Merc. That's how I linked up
with man. He's still
that's how I linked up with everybody. The Abadors, you know,
shout out to Dope
and Jedi and them, everybody. Yep. And so yeah, shout out to mainhiphop.com and Braden Biddings for fucking putting on it. It's such a critical time for Mean Hip Hop too, because that was like, everything was really getting started too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the same kind of beginnings, and you know, Remy was recording with Braden Biddings too at plenty of times.
So, I mean, that dude could still outmix most people. Like he's still ferocious. I see him every once in a while. But
yep, I've seen him too at Scarborough Walmart a couple times and shit too.
Yeah, so, right. Both of our kids did robotics, so that's the last place I saw him, was at a robotics meet.
No doubt. Shout out to Braden Biddings, man. One of the OGs to put on for fucking Mean Hip Hop, really. But yeah, so we got this section or area of the fucking shows when we kind of talk about some weird news or shit that's going on recently. So I know Justin didn't really have anything this week, but I got plenty of shit. I got a couple of articles that were fucking weird. So there's an internet fad. You know, internet fads, they come and go, whatever. Well, there's one right now, I guess, that has people eating rotten meat. Right? They're like, yo, if we eat some fucking rotten meat, we're going to get high. So, like, internet fads and memes usually...
you get high off of eating it? That's what they're saying?
They say that, yeah.
So you can tell people anything.
Wow.
Yes. This thing leaves Tide Pods in the dust. It's not only potentially more dangerous, but infinitely more disgusting. So apparently some people have gotten in their heads that it's a good idea to eat raw, spoiled meat. And we're not talking about steak that went old a couple of days ago either. This meat is in advanced stages of decomposition. So it's green, brown, swarming with bacterial colonies. However, they say it tastes better that way, right?
Wow.
So they call
it narrow down who they is.
Is it real? So like, is this really real? It gets you high? No, not really. It just says that you're probably bacteria and shit like that is just not good for you, and you're feeling a euphoria hallucination from the chemical properties in that bacteria. So it's really not worth the risk. The person writing the article goes on to say that they'd rather they said injecting cocaine is safer than eating this meat.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Damn, I was like, that's pretty risky. But yeah, they're just saying basically don't do it. So like people use like sauerkraut, kimchi and yogurt and kombucha. This is nothing compared to that shit. People are like, kombucha, it's like whatever, but this is miles beyond.
I mean, I did see a show on Netflix. It was a cooking show. Oh my God, I forget the name of it, but this dude from Australia would age his beef like 150 days longer than any other person.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like after you cook it and then let it rot, that's worse. But I mean, it's kind of the same principle, really. Like you hang it in the freezer for fucking 200 days, and you eat it, and it's like rare. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
I would try just because the dude from Australia was like so passionate about it. I guess I hope nobody will be able to sell me on eating spoiled meat, but
that cook stuff from
that dude told me, I was like, I'll try it, bro. Yeah, you hung that motherfucker for 200 days. Yeah. I'm trying it. He went like hand picked him on a farm and shit.
Sliced him real thin. I remember he was like, yeah, this is how you got to do it. And I'm just like, that looks really good. It almost looks like a jerky or like a sausage or some weird shit. I'm not sure. They don't have any pictures of it on the article, by the way. So I'm not sure what it looks like, but I'm just assuming.
I'd rather not see what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't post it.
Yo, there has to be maggots in it, right?
I mean, yeah, or at least of them, there has to be. But I'm just not sold on that. The thing you're talking about is I think that's like miles above this other shit. Like that guy's doing.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, I would try the dry age shit, but I'm not. No, but in related news, I did see. I forget where it is. Again, my memory's not that great, but there was a cheese that people eat where they basically have maggots in the cheese, and then it ages, and then they eat it. It's in like. I don't even want to offend anybody and say a country, but I know that's fucked up too.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah. Yep. Maggot. Old meat. I didn't see this podcast going here. I really didn't see it.
Well, we do always talk about some weird ass fucking shit. But
all right, I'm with it.
With the weird theme and being that it's Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there, by the way.
Mine.
And everybody who is a mother, we respect you tremendously. This fucking story, however, of a man from Spain, he killed and ate his mother. All right. This guy was originally arrested in February of 2019, 26-year-old Alberto Sanchez. Police said that his 69-year-old mother was missing. Her friends were like, we haven't heard from her, right? So cops show up. What they found was crazy. Shit was scattered everywhere. He had coolers with and he was cooking shit like at the time when they showed up. That's what this he was in the middle of cooking something and he had shit everywhere. So
mom was in the house dead?
Yeah, just chopped up everywhere in fucking cooler. For real. And so they were like, what happened? And he was like, I don't remember. Like, I don't know what happened. And they're like, well, you're fucking like, you got everything organized and here's what's happening. And he's still stuck to his story. Like, I don't know. But police go on to say that he had a violent past with his mother. So there was times where whatever, and she had even gotten a restraining order against him in the past. Wow. But yeah, he admitted, the only thing he had admitted was that he choked his mother, and that was it. He couldn't admit to anything further than that. This happened in 2019. He still hasn't been he's still waiting trial, apparently.
Wow.
But yeah, quite a morbid fucking story for a Mother's Day, but that was something that they posted today because it was fucking Mother's Day. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, wild shit.
In this world, man.
Yeah, this world is full of fucking fucked up motherfuckers, dude.
Hey, at least he didn't let her age,
Wow.
Yeah, nasty.
He was like,
we're going to hell.
But yeah, let's shift gears and fucking talk about your first projects and like your early influences early on. You said you couldn't sing, but I beg to differ. Like I've heard some shit of like, that I think you got a touch of singing in you. Now, whether you've developed that over the years,
you just made my day so much better. So,
like, I listen to your music often enough, and I hear you sing on a few things here and there. At least I think it's you. Pretty sure it's you doing a little bit of singing, and it's not. It's dude, I've heard worse. Let's just put it that way. If I had to put you in the 1 to 10, you're like a 7, 8, dude. I mean, come on. And that's saying good. Like
you have no idea what you're doing for my confidence right now.
You can carry a tune, and I've heard people who have played me fucking music, or like they're like, "Yo, I got this singer," and they're like, "I need some beats," and I'll send me fucking something, and they send it, and I'm just like,
"No." I mean, I think I can carry a tune, and I think that I listen to enough music. So I mean, if you really were to put it on a graph, I don't listen to that much hip hop anymore. I definitely went through like a phase, but I listen to so much R&B and like some bluegrass shit and acoustic stuff that I think it'd be impossible for me not to like vocally recognize, like as it comes out of my mouth, that it's like, wow, this shit's way out of tune, or like, it's just like an automatic thing that happens.
Yeah,
I'm incredible fucking singers that for me to say that I could sing would be like shameful, I think. But thank
the
you.
thing about it is you have like a really great ear for the music, and I think that's evident in the song. And I know you probably have done this on numerous fucking songs, but in particular that song "Vices" that you did.
Yeah.
I know that. Who the fuck made that beat? Noise, right? I think Noise made the beat.
Yeah, BCAP.
Yeah, BCAP. So dope beat, right? But I think you added some elements to this fucking beat that wasn't originally in there, right? Well, we already know
Absolutely.
that Angelica singing through the whole fucking thing. I don't know
Right.
whose fucking idea it was, but that was a great idea. That's the idea that in that guitar, that like fucking.
I think it was Max Cantlin. I can't remember if it was Max or Dave Gutter that played guitar on that. And I'm sorry to either of them if they're listening, but at that point in time, we had sent so much out. We, meaning me and George Foisey, had sent so much stuff out, and there was like a 2-month period where we didn't get anything back just because everybody was working on different stuff. And then all of a sudden, it was like a fucking overflow of instrumentation just because George doesn't play guitar. I linked him with Max Cantlin, who's fucking phenomenal. And him and Max started working heavy. And then there was a period in time where I was in Beards with Dave and Tommy. And I would just send Dave whatever I was working on. Cause I'm like, even if I don't use it, like hearing Dave Gutter play guitar or sing on anything that I did still makes me feel like I'm wearing a silk suit in a limousine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking incredible. So I believe it was Max Cantlin that played on that, but I could be.
I think it was Max too. But the thing about it is, I don't know whose idea it was to put that all together, but the guitar and the way that she sang, and you know what I'm saying? That whole thing wasn't just like you got a beat and you fucking rapped on it. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
man, I try to go for like it sounds fucking cliche and corny, but I literally try to make it feel how I feel when I write the record. And not to say that I like have my roll up my sleeves and get into like the beat making process, but I'm not going to put it out if I'm not. I have like 30 or 40 different versions of every song that I do.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm a perfectionist, because I'm really not. I just like to try different things and see how it sounds and add this and it's a gift and a curse, because to be honest with you, from the business side of it, it makes it tough because I've had to pass up on a couple distribution things because I end up working with so many different people, and it's annoying at the end of the year to go through all that and split it myself.
Right.
I'd rather just go through like DistroKid or another service that can break it up for me at the time.
Yeah, that becomes a fucking pain in the ass for sure.
It's just
cheats on everybody. That's wild. Like that's a whole nother level of the industry that a lot of people don't
no doubt
know about her.
Not to say I'm making millions of fucking dollars, but like it's still I don't want anyone to be shorted. I just want it to be taken care of and everyone to get their contributions for contributing. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it started with my first project, though. The question, I didn't mean to get off base.
Yeah, no. Yeah, first projects and your influences around that time, and let us know.
Yeah. So the first project was the Rise and Shine, and I think that came out in 2000. I don't know, dude. I did the Rhyme Beat podcast, and he was like, bro, you're really bad at dates. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I have dad brain for sure. But anyway, the Rise and Shine was made over like 4 or 5 years before I actually put it out. And there's so many different producers and so many different sounds and feelings. And I went from having like no responsibilities to having a kid at such a young age, and then getting into construction and having never like been involved in construction at all. Like moving from like a rural area into Portland, like the West End.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'd moved to like right across from the Sea Dog, so that was quite like a culture shock for me at the time. And there's just I listen to that album sometimes, and it's everywhere. Like I have fans or followers that like still say that that's an incredible album, and I just look at them like they're crazy, because it's just like it doesn't even feel like an album to me now, because I was a part of it and know how many different stages of that there was. But the Rise and Shine was the first project. And as far as influences, man, I mean, I grew up on everything, like Michael Jackson, Prince, to fucking Little River Band, to Usher, to Eminem. I think like all of us, too many to name really influences, but
yeah, but mostly hip hop influences.
Same.
Was it like mostly hip hop influences that influenced you, or was it like a lot of other things? Or
I mean, I wanted to be Montel Jordan so bad, bro. Like I really did. But as far as like writing, yeah, I mean mostly hip hop influences. Like I always wanted to say something that nobody else would think to say. And even if they did think to say it, I want to say it in a different way. Like if I hear someone has a bar about something, I'm gonna try and flip it in a different way.
hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just think that it's endless and it's infinite that you could just fucking play with words. And I hate numbers, so words was always like my favorite thing to fuck around with and manipulate.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's what's up. You can tell by the way that a lot of stuff flows with you. You take your time when you fucking write shit. It's not just, I know you probably have a flow, but I'm just saying, like, you're making sure what you're saying is it's calculated, you know?
Yeah, I definitely, man. It comes up in collaborative sessions a lot because I really like to be alone when I do it because if someone else is like, okay, I'm done with my verse, well, good for you. Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes I crush it in like 15 minutes. I've been in studio sessions where I'll write a verse and record it in 5 minutes and then be done and on to the next. And I feel like that rushes other people. I'm not trying to be rushed when I'm being creative. That's why I bought my own setup so I can take my time, make it all go together. And if I stop feeling it, then I'll work on something else.
Yeah, having that alone time is definitely crucial. I've been in the situations too where we're just in a fucking studio and everybody's trying to fucking write, and it's just not. It hinders you fucking creatively or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, not to say it's impossible because I've been in sessions where it's like super dope, but most of the time, if you get five people doing the same thing, whether they're playing basketball, cooking, in an orgy, or writing a song, like they're all gonna try and be the best. It all turns into a competition. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll hear this dude's 4 bars, and I'm like, all right, cool, and then I get in a whole different zone than what I would have been.
Yeah. I like the flow of fucking just working alone, just for the simple fact that I with minimal distractions, I feel like I can really focus on it. So for me, it's like, boom, I can get this shit done. I got my shit is right here. I literally write it. It's right here. Don't have to move, like you said.
No doubt. Yeah, right here.
You don't have to do shit. Exactly. So like, boom, here the motherfucking mic is just always here. So like me personally though, like I love the fact that having that home studio and that flow, but some people just don't. Like some people are like they are totally like need to go to the studio. Like that's their thing. You know what I'm saying?
I've been through phases though, because if 5 years ago you would have asked me, I would have told you like there's no way I'm going into a studio, this, that, and the third. But I've been to a couple studios like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago. And I was like, yo, I miss this. Like, I miss not having to do anything. I don't have to send this to anybody. I don't have to listen to it and take out all the fucking my kids running around or the door opening or shutting or, you know what I mean, flushing the toilet, whatever the fuck it is. Like, it's just once I'm done with it there, I just leave it. And I do miss that. But
yeah.
other than that,
I'm fucking so OCD that I used to leave shit with people and never get back or get it back all fucked up and not have the stems, or like I'd just be like,
I get it.
I have to work with somebody who's fucking professional if we do that, because I'm so OCD that if something's done over my beats, I just have to have it, even if I'm not mastering it in the end. Like I still have to have it all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all I gotta have the fucking stems. I gotta be able to listen to it with my own ears. If someone sends me a master, like so and so mastered it, I'm gonna listen to it. Right. I'm not gonna be like the person who's like, oh hell no, nobody else can master my shit, man. Nah, that's not what I do. If it's good, I'm with it. You know what I mean?
I'm the same way.
I gotta have the files though. I have to.
No, I get it. I think eventually I'll probably get back into just making like some demos for me here, and then I always send it out. So that's the thing. I don't mix anything. So I always send it out to someone else. But even that, when you go to a studio, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just you leave and
wrap up and
you're fucking good to go. So
Yep. But yeah, hell yeah. Did you ever do anything in school like band or choir, anything fucking like play instrument or anything like that?
Oh fuck yeah, dude. I was in chorus. Loved chorus. I also had the best handwriting in my whole school. Just throw that in there.
Really?
Yeah, 2 penmanship awards. But no, other than that, I actually went to Paths, which was the Portland Art Technology High School, and took a music course there. So I just got really high and went and wrote raps while someone else ran Pro Tools. So it was pretty cool.
Oh hell yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, that's fucking bomb right there.
That's class.
What an experience too, like to be able to do that. That's sick.
Sounds like Full Sail.
I met a lot of people there. Why did you go to Full Sail?
Yeah, I went to Full Sail back in 03.
That's
and
sick.
it was the same story. People would just come in, do their thing, and we'd just be playing on Pro Tools the whole time.
That's sick, huh?
You gotta have someone to support while you're trying to learn. So like bring in,
right? That's the best way to learn is just to do it anyway. But I met a lot of people at that technical high school. I met Lucas Kennard, who actually is still a friend of mine, which I mean, that was in 05, 06 maybe. So and I wish he would do more music. He's super talented, but I met a lot of really dope people there.
Hell yeah, that's the way to network too with like-minded people. But yeah, so we talked about process and if he was in there. So what about this? Moving on to some different shit now. Unexplained phenomenon. Some people are like into it. Some people are into certain things. Me personally,
popped up in the desert.
Me personally, I'm like, I'm on the fence about a lot of shit. I'm interested in it. You know what I'm saying? Am I sold on it either way? I'm not really sure. Things I think about are like, alien activity, UFOs. What the fuck's going on with Bigfoot? Like, how come we can't find one? Like, if there is one, like that. Ghosts, I don't know. I can't figure out what that is. If people are seeing ghosts, I don't know if that's energy, if that's a spirit. I'm not really spiritual I'm not really religious, I'd say. Like, I don't go to church. I don't pray and stuff like that. Not that I care if someone else does. I'm not like fucking religion, I just, me personally, I'm like, whatever. I believe in a higher power and there's a universe and we're all kind of connected. That's kind of like what I believe in. So for me, I'm thinking ghosts, what could it be? Blah, blah, blah. Is it residual energy? Things like that. Is there anything that's paranormal or like, an unexplained phenomenon that just you kind of take an interest in if you had to pick one?
I mean, my 9-year-old is like a fucking alien nerd. So I try and support him as much as I can. Like, and I just hope that they are real and that he could like see one day. That'd be cool. But I mean, on a real note, like, I don't know. One of my oldest son's aunts used to take him to church when he was younger. And I was I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Because people who believe in God seem to be super happy. My whole side of my family in Colorado is super religious, and they are the greatest people in the world. Like, spending 5 minutes with them is taking like a bath that just cleanses you of all your sins. You know what I mean? And they don't shove it down your throat.
Yeah.
Do I believe in God? No. I would like to. I try to make myself believe in God, but I actually, when I was in Long Island, New York, I got into some trouble, and this dude that I was working with was like, "Nah, you're coming to church with me." I'm like, and I was kind of still young, wild, and reckless. I was like, "All right, man, whatever, fuck it." Threw a couple blunts in a backwoods package and headed to church with this guy. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Pentecostal church. No offense if anyone hears this. I'm not judging anybody. Those motherfuckers are crazy, man. They speak tongues and they want you to speak it. And if you don't speak it, they're very upset.
Yeah.
It was like a chain reaction. Everyone was speaking in tongues, and I was like already stressed out to be there and high. Sorry if there is a God. Like, that shit was fucking intense. So I just decided from that point on that organized religion was not for me.
Yeah.
I
had gone a few times here and there throughout my life. Friends take me one time, and I'm just I went along with it. Yeah, I didn't know really what I was doing. I'm just like, I'm here. I don't have any problems with it, and I support people who are into it. It's just for me, I couldn't find it. And like you said, I tried a few times, be like, nothing, just like, I don't feel it. Like, I don't feel it. But what I do feel is a connectivity between us humans and Earth and the universe and shit like that. I feel that.
Have you ever done DMT?
No. I've done a lot of mushrooms though. A lot.
Yeah.
It has been a lot, but I've done a lot.
I think that's the closest I've ever felt to being like one with the earth.
DMT?
Yeah, I kind of done it on accident. Like, I was going through a little rough period in my life, and I was hanging out with a homie, and he was like, "Yeah, I got this shit." I was like, "All right, whatever," and did it. And the first time I did it was just kind of like a body buzz. And then he was like, "Nah, you didn't do that right." I'm like, Fuck, right? So he like whatever coached me through it and did, bro. Like when I say my whole chest cracked open and like a aura of light shot out and like I just accepted everything, whether it was God or whatever the fuck was coming down. I was like, all right, I'm yours. And for like 3 months, I just went on this like fucking I can see how people go nuts on drugs, no doubt. I mean, that was the only time I did it, and I definitely didn't make a habit of it, but it's mind opening for sure when you see things like that. And I had one bad experience with mushrooms and never did it again. So I can't say that I've like felt that feeling a bunch, but DMT is it'll change your life.
Heard it was I'd done a lot of mushrooms, and I had one bad experience the whole time I ever did it, and it was the last time I did it. So like, and that was like probably like 5 years ago, at least, maybe even 2021. It's probably been like 7 or 8 years, to be honest with you. But I've had opportunities maybe come up like, yo, doing a couple mushroom caps. I even had a buddy of mine give me some. Like, I held them for like 2 years, and everyone was like, hey, I still have those. He's like, what? Right. I don't know, at a certain point, I got to a point where I was having problems with my health, and I had to like, be like, I can't do any of that, anything that I can fucking risk anything. Like, I've got to I only drink water. Like, you know what I'm saying? I monitor my fucking heart all the time, all day. Fucking, I'm just like crazy about it. And, I've really worked at trying to be like sober in a way. I mean, I smoke weed. That's what I do. I don't fucking, I used to do any drug I could get my fucking hands on. In my early 20s, you know what I'm saying? That's what I did. Like, people knew me, they know Beats of Profit. You could probably fucking buy beats, give him some coke and buy beats from him. So that was how it was. And so it's not like that anymore. Things are fucking way different, and I like it that way.
Yeah, no, I think
it was just horrible. People would take advantage of you. People, they just down and out, and that's how they get you. So like when you're on your own and you have a drive for yourself, and it changes a lot of shit. So,
no.
Well, speaking of this, I don't know if you guys have heard of microdosing, but they're looking into like mushrooms and LSD and this kind of shit for, specifically depression, obviously, because of the effects it has on you. But yeah, they're researching it more. So I feel like that could become in the next 5-10 years a common thing where, all these antidepressant drugs from big pharma are phased out, and they're bringing in more
I would 100%
holistic stuff like mushrooms and LSD.
This pill, or you got these mushrooms, it's gonna make you better, happier. I'm definitely taking the mushrooms for sure.
But I guess I'm like a cynic because I feel like big pharma will get ahead of that, purchase the natural products, make them not natural, and sell them to you as if they were natural.
Probably, yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah, they tried that with weed. They had the pill that's called Marinol or whatever. It was nothing like weed. My mother got her hands on some when I was like 19, 20 years old. She had nerve pain, and they gave her some of this shit, and she would take it, and it didn't do shit. She's like, I don't even know what this even is. She's like, you want to try it? I tried it, and it was fucking weird, man. It was like, it made my mouth dry as fuck, like drier than weed.
Marinol? I never heard of it.
Marinol. I don't know if they make it anymore, but that's what it was called back then. This was like early 2000s, but yeah, she gave me one fucking pill, and it made my mouth so fucking dry and my eyes so fucking red. But I had like this weird feeling in my head and nothing else. I didn't have a body buzz or anything, just all up in my head, in my face. Everything just felt like a fucking raisin. It was like dried out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So it was no good. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what they did. Isolated parts of the THC and just put it in there. But
did it help with the nerve pain that your mom had?
Oh, my mother got on different. She got the Marinol for like a week or 2 weeks or some shit, and she was like, this shit doesn't do anything.
Sucks. Yeah.
So she was just like, it just gives me side effects and shit. So I was like, but the natural shit, definitely my mother, a few years back, I gave her some fucking edibles, and she was having trouble sleeping, and boom, she was sleeping again. So I'm like, see, you know what I mean? No real side effects except for fucking eating a little bit, But I'm not for like fucking the synthetic, and like you said, big pharma they're on top of it. They are always trying to find a fucking way to put a patent on something. Like if they got to synthesize it and make it
absolutely,
they're on it. They're doing it.
I guess as far as like a phenomenon goes, just to bring it back around, like that's kind of what I believe. I just always expect that like there's someone behind all of this, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? there's power in division. Like they always try to divide us and conquer and just take our money. So like, and I don't even try to like indulge in it or like pay a lot of attention to it or drive myself nuts or argue with people on Facebook about it or whatever. But I just always have this feeling like my intuition is pretty good that like we're being fucked somehow, and just being like driven into a direction to argue with somebody who doesn't agree with us. Too much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They're trying to control everybody somewhere along the line.
But,
They gotta,
absolutely.
Yeah,
whether there's a phenomenon or not, or there's aliens or not, or anything like it just all goes back to like just two different opinions, and somebody's gonna say it's real, someone's gonna say it's not, and you're gonna argue about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does break down pretty much like that.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on. This is the hardest part, I think, of the show. Top 5, right? So,
okay.
So usually we just throw it out there. We pick randomly. I'm gonna pick for you. I'm gonna pick what your top 5 artists is. Now, top 5 artists is artists, right? It doesn't have to be a rapper. Doesn't have to be a singer. It can be a painter. Yeah, it could be anybody. Okay, artist is artist. So think broadly. If you were locked in a fucking room, for the rest of your life, and all you had was 5 artists, could be musicians, could be painters,
like current day or like all time,
any from any
you
time
decide.
Yeah,
you decide.
On you.
Gotcha.
Top 5 artists of all time.
Anderson .Paak, the Teskey Brothers, Black Thought, J. Cole, and the absolute fucking greatest artist of all time, John Mayer.
John Mayer. Wow. What a fucking songwriter John Mayer is, right?
No doubt. He's like a sex symbol, too. He's a god, really.
Yeah. He is an incredible fucking artist and musician as well. Being, utterly sexy, right? Word. So what about, all right, so let's switch it. Let's go straight hip hop, right? If you had to pick top 5 hip hop producers.
Actually, you know what? I want to add Jay-Z to my top 5 because Jay-Z would be above Black Thought. All right, producers, Madlib, Alchemist,
yes,
Kanye, High Tech,
and
Ninth Wonder.
Ninth Wonder. Okay. Yes, very dope, very dope. High Tech, obviously, too. That's one of my
Jay Dilla is just like number 1 on everybody's list, I feel like. So
wait, we'll just say Jay Dilla's a given. Like we would have to.
Yeah.
Dilla Premier. Everybody's got them.
That's cool. Premier.
Even we can even throw Dr. Dre.
Yeah, top 10 is hard. Top 5 is like fucking damn possible.
Yeah, top 10. There's just so many, and like we were talking about earlier, it can fucking change too. Like depending on what.
Next week, Drake's probably on my top 5, which pisses a lot of people off. Like most weeks, to be honest with you, but just didn't pop in my brain.
You can't fucking deny the fact that he just.
Drake, oh man, come on.
He knows what to do. He doesn't even have to really rap anymore. He just goes on shit and just talks and he wants, and it's amazing. And he has such great selection with I don't know if he's strictly the one who picks the beats and shit, or if he just worked with somebody and they're like, yeah, I think you'd be good on this. But they do a really good job putting him on shit that will really just work for him. And he's really able to work with a lot of shit. Like he's
very versatile.
Yeah, he has like the reggaeton and the dance hall, and fucking hip hop.
Right, so let me flip it on you. Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Who is the rapper with the best beat selections?
The rapper with the best beat selections.
It's easy for me. I think when I point it out, you're gonna be like, "Oh shit."
I mean, I really like Nas, but
okay,
that's just me, because he's worked with a lot of different producers, and he usually has really dope beats.
I think Rick Ross has the best beat selection, and you don't even have to be a Rick Ross fan to just appreciate that everything he gets on his fucking
to the limits. Oh, that was a crazy, and the producer who did that just did such a great job changing the format. You know,
was that Cool and Dre? Who was that?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah. But that was just like the way that they did it. You would, if you if you play the sample and you play the beat together, you're like, damn, and then you play the beat and you're like, oh, how the fuck and they had to tweak it, to make it work with that flow. And that is what I respect a lot about them. Cool and Dre is an underrated fucking duo. They really haven't done too much in recent years, but goddamn, in like 2000, what was it, like 8, 9, 10?
Yeah.
Putting a bunch of crazy shit out. I liked everything that they were putting out. Even though they did the rapping shit, they weren't that great at the rapping shit, but they knew how to, they had a vibe.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if I had to pick, like, probably Nas, but Rick Ross is a great point. But yeah, Nas, and then it's Nas for me. I'm trying to think of everybody else picking beats wise who isn't a producer. Like, I would say Timbaland, because he raps on a lot of his shit, and almost all the beats are fucking dope. But he's not a rapper. He's like, he makes the beats. But as far
as raps on some dope shit too, though.
Yeah, it's got to be Nas for me. He just, if you go back and listen to his first album, okay, a lot of like similar shit, but when you get to like It Was Written and Illmatic and shit like that, it was just like versatility from so many different producers, yet he was getting that fucking sound.
You rather listen to Nas than Jay-Z?
No. And Jay-Z's got great beat selection as well. Like, they're like, if you had to put them there, it's like they're really close. But I was
Did you see the little video clip that DJ Khaled showed of Nas saying that after he heard the new record with him and Jay on it, that he had to rewrite his verse?
No, I didn't.
It's pretty wild to see in 2021 to see Nas say that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, just Nas. I listened to Nas before Jay-Z, so for me, I got like a thing for Nas. It was like one of the first rappers that I was listening to, like in '96 when It Was Written came out. I was like gravitated to that. Like, I fucking listened to it at school all day. I'd have my headphones on.
Poetic, man, for sure.
Yeah, every fucking day, and just hearing like that song. What the fuck is that song? I Gave You Power, right?
Yeah,
he's a gun. Yeah. That fucking song, I mean, that song just blew me away. I had to listen to that fucking song probably 1,000 times. When I heard it, I just kept fucking repeating. I think it was
a lot of time with that record too. Yeah, it was super creative, and he just made it like you were looking at a drawing of what he was saying. It was super
really painting a picture, and it really helped someone like me from rural white fucking Maine paint a picture of what it was like to kind of be there. You know what I'm saying? And for me,
have you ever heard Elzai's remake of Illmatic called Elmatic?
No.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty sick too.
Yeah, absolutely. Super dope.
Yeah.
If you're a Nas nerd, I think you'd enjoy it because he raps over all the beats, but he had it all played with live instruments. So the whole album is the Illmatic beats, and he just crushes.
That's fucking dope. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, super dope.
Yeah. So top 5. That's always interesting. What about some of your like non-musical hobbies, like stuff you do when you're not making music? I know you got a family. I do too. That's probably pretty much takes up a lot of my time. But we all got things that we like to do, hobbies, whether it's just getting out or fucking maybe you paint, maybe you fucking do other things, you know.
Right.
What do you do?
I have a lot of house plants. I like plants a lot. I don't know. I go through phases, man. So like, if you would ask me this in the beginning of COVID, I was cooking a lot. Right now I'm on a health kick, so I do a lot of working out. Spend a lot of time with the kids. To be honest with you, haven't really been making that much music recently. I've kind of just been living and rediscovering who the fuck I am, and
same.
You know what I mean? To be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Which is odd because I have so much music made that I've still been putting it out, and I don't know if you can see the board behind me, but I have 2 albums on either side, and then I have a collaborative album, and then just like a strew of record. I mean, I don't have to make music for like the next 4 years. I could put out whatever I wanted. You know, I mean, I just was like obsessed with it for quite some time. So
yeah, so it's good that you can take a break. Did you have that? You're set up. You can fucking take a break and kind of
no doubt.
Whatever. At the beginning of the pandemic, I hadn't made a lot of music prior to. I was moving around. I was out in fucking Phoenix. I was here. I was trying to network with people and do all this shit. And then when the pandemic hit, I just was doing absolutely nothing. So I'm like, damn, I can get back into music, and I did for like 6 months, and then it just making 10 beats a fucking day, recording a song or 2 here and there during the week. It just got to be like to the point where I felt like I'm saying what I have to say, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'm a producer first and a rapper second, really. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the beats is really what gets me going. And I'm like, all right, usually that's enough to satisfy me. But sometimes, especially when shit is going on in the world, you know, especially, you know, police violence and fucking, you know, inequality and all the shit that's going on, I find a spark and sometimes stuff will just come out and I'll be like, all right. And then after that, I feel like I put that down or something. Like I released a song, A Seed of Memory, and I talk a lot about that. And I did Fist Up with Dynamo P, and that was like, you know, so it's like I say political things and shit like that. And I try to like have something meaningful to say, and then I'm done. Like I'm like, all right, I said what I had to say. Now let me make some more beats, and then eventually it kind of creeps up again, and I'm like, all right, I got some more shit to say now. You know?
No, I get it. Yeah,
kind of like how my flow goes, because I've never been a person who was like sit down and like make a whole fucking album. Like you got a bunch of shit like that. Me though, for beats, I can make 10 beats in a fucking day, and end up with like, you know, like I just last week I sold 10 fucking beats to Andre Hicks. Like he hit me up as like, yo, you got fucking 10 beats from me? I'm like, yeah. Like boom, and like I get hit up a lot from people who want to buy a fucking bunch of beats. I heard like something on Spotify or something on Instagram, and they're like, yo, can you do this? And I'll send them something. They'll be like, yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted. And then with Andre, it was great. I did that Closer beat. He did a song. It hasn't come out yet. That we're working on that Dirigo project still. I got shit going for that. But he did a song called Closer. He talks about one of his family members getting murdered by police. And that's just sitting in the back burner. So I have that. And I got another song with Dynamo P that's just sitting in there.
Pat and Dre Sr. is just ferocious.
Dre Sr. is a fucking
animal.
Dude, so classic. And I just remember going in, like, when he had that little shop off Congress, when he was in Tony's Touch.
Yeah.
In Tony Touch, and I used to get all my shirts from in there. We just put our fucking mixtapes in there.
Yeah, the collars on the joints were like
super thick.
Every color.
My fucking knees. I remember Tommy Guns used to always be like, yo, you need some new white tees. And he would just give me whatever fucking size he wanted. Be like, shit would be like 5X. I'm like, damn, dog, shit is down on my fucking knees. But it fit him good. It's like, damn, like, I'm not 6'6" like you, dude. Like, calm down. Like, I can't wear a shirt this long. It's like I'm wearing a fucking dress.
Which I mean would be cool now, right?
But shout out to Andre Hicks, man. I know he's not really on the internet that often, but we got some stuff with him.
He texts me every once in a while. I think me up there was, you heard Young Thug Project. I'm like, what? Like, it blows my mind, because I think where it started, he'll hit me up every time Thug puts out an album and ask me about it. And I think it started because he was saying that he couldn't fuck with him. And then I think he got drunk and sat down and listened to a Young Thug album and like had like this fucking mind-blowing experience. And now he always says, like, yo, you heard the Young Thug Project? I'm like, no, but what a solid dude, man. He
always hits me up, and he's always asking me a specific kind of beat. He's like, yo, you got that new old. He wants it to be like sort of boom bap, but with the new trap. And like, I'm like, bro, that's like basically all I'm making right now. You know what I mean? So like, obviously,
on a real note though, about him, he is one of the people that has been super vocal throughout my whole musical career, super supportive, whether it was online, showing up to a show. He's the kind of guy that's going to show up and buy the CD from you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or buy a t-shirt from you. Or if you say you're going to do something, he's going to make sure you fucking do it. You know what I mean? Whether it's get on the record, show up to a event that you said you were going to show up to. He's just a solid dude through and through. Always showed super supportive, man.
And when he says he's going to do something, he always gets it done too. Like he was like, yo, this fucking song, I'm going to go see Zebly and I'm going to fucking get it done. And I'm like, all right.
Yes, he's like, Zebly, what a legend.
He hit me up like the next day, and he's like, bro, Zebly can't get me in for 3 weeks. I'm like, oh fuck. And he's like, but I'll get it done, I'll let you know. And he did. Literally that day, I forgot all about it, and I got an email from him, all the stems, everything was in there from Zebly. I'm like professional. He's super professional, bro, but still old school at the same time, which be expected. But I mean, his fucking lyrical skill, I can't believe that he didn't go further than where he was at. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame, dude. It's a shame. And I feel that way about a lot of fucking artists. And I look at even you sometimes. I'm looking at your fucking Spotify, looking at song plays, and I'm like, God damn, this fucking song should have like 100,000. I know you got a lot of plays on some songs, but I look at some of them, I'm like, what the fuck? How come this one doesn't have like, 100,000 on it?
You want to know something, bro? I never a day in my life wanted to be famous. I still don't. It drives some people fucking mad. Like they're like, why you even do it? I enjoy it, and when I don't enjoy it, I don't do it. Like if I go a year or two without playing a show, you'll notice because I just honestly didn't feel like doing it. And I think that's the most beautiful part of it all is that like any close run-in that I've had with being like successful or taking it to the next level has come by like shock to me because I just really enjoy doing it. I think that if I really put a lot of money behind it and became obsessed with it, like being successful, I probably have a better shot at it. You know what I mean? But I don't really like lose any sleep over it.
You're balancing your life is what you're doing.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, obviously you could just, you know, get people behind you and fucking just invest tons of money and spend your whole fucking time just trying to do that. However, and I feel the same way, dude. I mean, you know, we could have all probably fucking had money put behind us at certain points. You know, when I was young and Chip was my manager and fucking I was running with Pav and doing all that shit, we could have done a lot of things if certain things would have played out different ways. You know? So it is what it is. And I was never looking for that because, like I said, I'm a producer first. I was never trying to be the guy up front, like blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to make the beats, chill in the studio, smoke weed. You know what I mean? That shit.
Well, if I'm going to be real, I definitely went through a phase where I think that I was like, you know what I mean? When you get like a little bit of attention, it's like, okay, but I mean, I'd say after 27 on, I was just like, I don't even know if I'd want to not be able to go to the grocery store or pick my kids up from school or do some random shit without weird. I don't like people that much. You know what I mean? I spend a lot of time alone.
You must still deal with that sometimes. You must be out sometimes. People are like, hey, Shane Reis.
To be honest with you, I deal with it more like when I went on the road with Brian or Spose, I dealt with it more there.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a great while, I'll like be out to eat and someone will like comp a meal or do some cool shit like that. But I don't really have that many weird people like approach me, surprisingly.
That's good. Yeah, because I'm the same way. I don't like fucking people either. Like,
I think I'm pretty standoffish anyway. I mean, unless like I'm in the social environment, I can like thrive in that. But like out in public, I'm there for a reason to get whatever I'm doing, and I'm out. So.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't look at people. I don't fucking stop for conversations. I'm just in and out. Keep to myself. I'm introverted usually. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes. Like I'm like, I just want to be at home. I want to be fucking in my comfort zone, doing what I want to do. I don't want people fucking questioning me, asking me if I don't.
I think they call that being over 30.
Yeah. I feel like I've been that way for a longer time than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so what were we talking about? I'm trying to fucking remember because my memory is
non-musical hobbies.
Yeah, it's non-musical hobby.
And how we don't have any.
I do. For me, I just like to get out. Anytime I get out of the fucking house into nature, I think just helps me reset. And I say this all the time on here. Whether it's just going over to walk nature trail somewhere with the fucking dogs or kids or alone, whatever it is, I think just getting out into the nature and being able to observe, listen, you know, take in all the fucking senses and everything really helps me reset and allows me to fucking come back to the studio setting or back into the home just refreshed and feeling like, you know, better. So that for me works. I tried painting. I suck. So it's like I've done some things. You can see I got some paintings behind me. These definitely weren't done by me. these are Dynamo P. So not me.
Yo, Pat is super talented. Yo, we're doing an art show off. Hold on, I gotta get a painting.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I don't know if I can put it where you guys can actually see it, but so my dad is like a phenomenal fucking artist. I don't know if you guys can see it or not.
Yeah, right there is good. What is this?
Yeah, he paints a lot of shit. So this is the dude that he saw in Portland. He saw in Portland a marginal way that was going through like a fucking overdose.
No shit.
I randomly recalled it. But yeah, my dad is like phenomenal. Actually, we started before we were actually live. You were talking about Beach Boys and Fire on the Floor, which we have like 6 minutes to go till the smoke break for smokers. But they actually bought one of my dad's paintings, I think like 2 weeks ago. I think they're gonna hang it up in the shop, which is weird because they have no idea. I know a lot of people at Fire on 4 and they have no idea that I'm connected to him. So they just seek that out and like kind of all happened. Pretty wild. Small world.
Yeah, and the guy Gabe over there at Beach Boys, he does a lot of he does trike shots, you know, like the macro shots of the weed and shit. Me and him were cool too when I worked there, and we got talking about. He's actually the one who like kind of sparked my interest in photography and shit like that. Actually, back in like 2018 when I was there doing that with them, he was the one who showed me the camera. Was like, yeah, he showed me a bunch of pictures he took, and just got me talking. He gave me a bunch of information. And I was like, damn, he told me about the drones and what they do these days. Because I was just thinking drones are fucking toys, you know. I'm like, no, wow. Looking thing, and so yeah, shout out to Gabe for that, and obviously Beach Boys and Fire on 4 because
I think Benny P's over there too, right?
Yep, Benny's over there. Yep, Benny. I never worked with Benny. Like I think Benny came along, but they knew Benny. They knew Benny from before, but he, yeah, he's a good dude, and I'm glad that he's. I'm
gonna talk about a smart motherfucker, man.
Right. Yeah. Right. He knows so much shit about so much shit, and it's just awesome.
That's what it's gonna say on the tombstone. Benny P knew so much shit about so much shit. It's like scary sometimes. I just sit there and listen to him talk like what?
Yeah, we had some good conversations when I did Benny's crib too, and
yeah, I listened to the interview. Yeah, that was a good interview for sure. He's solid. So, he's solid.
Yeah, I love that he does so much for the scene too. Like that's a huge thing, and he's super positive as a person, which I think is a great thing. Because
which is like a real thing. You know what I mean? Like in real life, he's like that, which I don't think a lot of people are when they're on social media. They kind of just put up a front. He's genuinely like always that passionate and positive, which is pretty dope.
Nice, super positive all the time. Always has something. He'll go out of his way to say something positive. That's the kind of person that he is. So
yeah, I love him on social media because it would be like a bunch of negative bullshit, and then his story will pop up, and it'd be like, "Hey, you crush something today." I'm like, "All right, thanks, Benny. Shout out to you, man." Needed that.
So for the smoke break, I don't know. We should play something. Just to kind of show people like what Shane Rise is about. So I don't know if you have something in mind that you want to play. I could just go on like YouTube or Spotify.
Yeah, man. Russian roulette it. Play something. Play whatever you feel, man.
All right, hold on. I really like the Separated at Birth album that you did with Dap.
Shout out to Dap.
Like one song in particular that I really like a lot. Maybe you can set us up a little bit with this. Give us a little background story, maybe if there's any. The song Full Circle. I love that song. It's a great song.
Yeah, man. That was he sent me the beat, blacked out on it, and then we ended up going to mix it together with John Glass in Boston. And actually I think it's like but phenomenal record. One of my favorite that I've been a part of, man, to be honest with you. Just the way it sounds, the way it feels. That was one I wrote in like 6 minutes. You know what I mean? Kind of just put it on, blacked out, and I don't know. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, it is. The whole album is great. It's got a great sound. It's got that boom bap sound, but also like a unique sound too. It's not just like any old boom bap. It has like just a unique sound. Did he make the beats? That make the beats on those?
I think that made one or two. I don't even know if he had started producing yet at that point. That's like a smorgasbord. So I think Rise Up made a couple beats. B-Cat made some of the beats. George Foisey made one of the beats.
Yep.
I'd have to look at the track list, but
Speed probably was George Foisey track. But yeah, that's dope though that it sounds so fluid together to the album. So if anybody's out there hasn't checked out that album Separated at Birth, Dap and Shane Rise, check it out. And right now, let's just play. I'm gonna play Full Circle right now, and I'm gonna blaze a fucking dab while I do it. So my mic's gonna be muted, but we're gonna vibe out to this, and I'm gonna mute you guys so that we don't have any feedback or whatever. And let me know if you can hear it. I want to make sure that we can hear this. You can hear it, right? All right, cool.
Full circle, the shape of life room. Full of candles, my thoughts awake at night. No turn on red signs, but I made a right. Social security barcodes, I paid the price. Some think my grave site is the greatest sight. That's why solo, been my way of life. Left me for dead, got the blues, left me on red. Thirsty girls hungry to bite the hand that fed like never. Me, I never been one for that. Pretty eyes bring me lies, but I only run with facts. Jump in that water before you soak your feet. Money talks, I don't speak. No one been as broke as me. So I'm sewing tigers on my shirt, and with the root of evil, I just flirt like I couldn't wait for you to come around. Couldn't see the light when the sun is out. You had me feeling high, but ooh, it's all full circle. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, just getting settled in. Wake up hours later like a bum collecting cans. I just throw them in the bin and do it all again. I kiss a picture of my kids, go and get the bands. I hopped in that water quick, can't stop when I wanna quit. It's constant with all of it, it's never ending. Goddamn, what a vicious cycle. How do you evict a demon when it lives inside you? Despite either two of you, if you're the spiteful one, if you ever need a hook, then he could write you one. But I pivot on both feet. I don't plan, I live it and go see. I've been in the nosebleeds. Civilians quote me, but really they don't see that I get it at full speed. And I did it with no team. I'm hidden but full scene. I'm dimming but so beaming. I scribble with no meaning, and I might keep it or get rid of the whole thing. Can't get lit with the old flame. Got me seeing the old me. I can't live under both names, but goddamn, it's been a minute since I did it like this. Gotta smile, cause if I said I did it, I did. I put on for my city, I did. But do you know where oblivion is? Ooh, it's all full circle.
Man, I haven't heard that joint in a long time.
Yeah, man, I love that shit. We got some else. Yeah, I just love that fucking track, bro. I like that whole fucking.
Drunklad's crushed that mix, man. The more I listen to it.
Yeah, and the way that the guitar just vibes in there, you know, it's perfect, really how it fucking goes. So,
absolutely. Damn, I haven't heard that shit. Dab's really responsible for all of that because at that point I was so stretched thin working on so many fucking projects at the same time that after it took months, but finally he was just like grabbed control of all of it and was like, just send me your vocals. I'll take care of the rest. I was like, all right, bro, cool.
The whole thing turned out great. It's good, mastered well, and the whole vision was great. I love how you bring in the female vocalists to just come in and do hooks and do like over the verse. It really fucking adds that element in there, and it really shows like from like you were talking about your first album. It shows the growth as a fucking artist, and like you were saying, you're not really trying to be stuck into one thing, and you always were into like R&B and stuff, and it really shows like the more stuff that you do. I'm not saying it's not hip hop, it's just like an elevated fucking version of it. You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate that, man, because it's how I feel. You know what I mean? That's the kind of music I like to listen to, and really the vibe that I shoot for. You know what I mean? I don't ever wake up in the morning wanting to be angry or wanting to like feel like I'm competing with everybody or like I want to feel kind of good. You know what I mean? Feel like just ride with the day. So
yeah, it's always a vibe with everything that you do. There was this one verse in particular that you did where you said, all they ever did was doubt it. Look, I know red balloons, I never gave a fuck about it.
That was on your shit, right? That was with Shamik.
Yeah. Shamik, man, that fucking verse was just crazy. And I remember Shamik was like, yo, I want to get so-and-so on here. I want to get so-and-so on here. And he was mentioning like all kinds of people. And when your name came up, I was like, bro, if you get Shane Reis on this
that's
fucking
my dog, though. That's my Halloween brother right there, man.
He had just recorded that shit or whatever, and OD wasn't on it. Yeah.
Talk about somebody that is like undervalued.
Oh my god.
Dude, and is disgusting.
And
I listen to some of his shit and I'm just like, my face is all fucked up. My face hurts when I'm done listening to it. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? He's too dope, man.
Sean was one of the first artists or rappers that I ever worked with. So when I came out of high school, all I was doing was like recording myself, and then I hooked up with the Abadors, which was Shamik, who went by Rome back then.
Yeah.
Jedi, J Works.
Yep.
Who has done some tattoos on me. Shout out J Works. And Josiah Scribes and Mike Christ, Mike Osborne, and Remy Johnson. So those guys pretty much were the first rappers I had in the fucking studio. So to bring it kind of full circle, and that was like 2002.
Wait, so like, Remy was an Abador?
Well, yeah, in the beginning, and they were working
Damn,
with.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
And Joey Vargo too was in there with them.
Yep.
Rest in peace to Joey Vargo, and of course, Paulie Mumbles was another dude that I worked with early on. And I worked with him a few times over the years too, but you know, with his lifestyle and shit, not much shit would come out. But I have some stuff that was unreleased. I got a song called Lost Boys that he did with
this Paulie's a wild motherfucker, man.
But yeah, that whole time frame was just amazing, man, for talent and for artists and for shit like that.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, when I sit back and think about it, there's just so many. I don't feel like it's the same anymore. I don't feel like, even when I was going to rap night like 3 years ago, it doesn't feel the same to me anyway. But maybe that's just, we're getting old. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But there's so many rappers and so many different cliques and groups and styles and sounds. And the bills weren't like every rapper you know on one bill. It was like if you went to a show with the Abadors on the bill, it was like gonna feel like an Abador show or Educated Advocate show even, or it's just different now.
Yeah, and well, I mean, those MCs were captivating, bro. Like Ryan Dowdy, fucking Ghost is fucking sick. Like he hasn't done much, I don't think, in recent years, but I guarantee he could fucking step in anybody's studio. Or me and him talk.
Yeah, he's an animated guy. He's a solid dude, an animated guy for sure.
But the way that you take his voice, very unique. That's, I think, a key point in fucking all these guys. Very unique voices, tones, all that shit. And how they were able to just blend together because they were all so different but unique in every single way. So the Abadors worked. It was almost like we said that.
Because Meek might have the most unique hip hop voice in New England, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah,
his voice is just like gritty and grainy and super dope.
But Josiah Scribes too, though, like Josiah Scribes and the Abadors, like he just had this crazy.
He sounded like OD doing an impression of someone.
Fucking OD.
OD's got that same like super.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe
it. Accent, you know what I mean? That true like mid-Maine
accent. Because he was an Abador too, right?
OD, yeah, but that was like after the fact that. After Remy left and stuff, and they kind of got together with them, and they were doing songs with Guap and shit like that. You know, City Soul Jewelers and shit. But
right, who's like an MMA fighter now.
Time frame, like that's when I was out. That's when I was doing shows with Tommy Guns and you know, shit like that. And that's kind of where I kind of stopped. I had a family in 2008. I had a kid, and then for like a bunch of years I didn't do shit, and it was just like I saw people come and go. I saw people I worked with. You know, they were like. I don't know. They were coming and going. People were stopping, and then I didn't know what happened to Shamik because I thought he went by Rome. I didn't know what his real name was, you know, from back in the day. So eventually, though, in 2019, I noticed he was commenting on one of Mike Osborne's posts, and I'm like, "That's fucking Rome." I'm like, "Let me hit him up." Hit him up like, "Yo, what are you doing? You still fucking making music?" He's like, "Yeah, actually, I'm thinking about making a fucking. I just put a project out." He said he just put one out. And he's like, I'm thinking about making another one. I'm like, well, I got a bunch of beats, and I was living in Old Orchard. So he's like, all right. So I literally took my fucking computer and went right to his house in Southport, the fucking computer. And we picked out a bunch of shit, and then we ended up making that. And we kind of had to cut it short because I was moving to Arizona. But we're actually working on Sleeping Giant, too. So he's already got a bunch of beats picked out. So I can't wait for that.
You have my email, bro.
Yeah, no, I got a fucking folder for you, beats for you.
Yeah, you did send a bunch, man. And like I said, that was at the time where I was kind of just like, it made so much, you know what I mean, and kind of disconnected. But.
Yeah, you were just mad busy, and fucking I know that. Because I mean, I know that you weren't trying to like fucking just brush me off, bro. I know how busy it can be because I've been the same way. I've had things I'm supposed to do or things I was like, yeah, I can commit to that, and then I can't, and I feel horrible after. I'm like, fuck. Like I want to do that.
I try to be as honest as I can, especially nowadays. You know what I mean? Like it just happened to me the other day where I got offered a couple shows, and it's like, yes, I would love to play those shows, but to be honest with you, I'm more excited to go see shows than I am to play them right now.
Right.
Like, and I don't want to do a show without like a fully polished album ready to go.
Yeah.
Playing a show in your city for the same 40, 50, 60, even 100 people.
Yeah.
It's like
you want to hear the new shit.
Right. Exactly. So they stop coming out if you keep playing the same.
And going to the shows too will give you like a gauge of who's coming out, how it is, you know. get a feel out for it that way, and you don't have to like jump right into it not knowing what to fucking expect, because it's going to be different. It is different,
no doubt.
So yeah, speaking of that, let's transition over to we usually talk about new rap versus old rap, and we're talking about main new rap, old rap. We just were talking about it, so it's kind of good segue into that. I'll start with how I feel about it, and that's how I usually always do it. There's artists, and I always say this, but there's artists from every era. Like we'll say golden era artists, right, of hip hop, where there's great ones, Jay-Z, Nas, fucking all the good ones. And then there's artists from that same time frame that would just
garbage,
like trash. Maybe I wouldn't listen to them. But then you get new age artists like Kendrick and J. Cole and all these people here that are dope, and I would listen to them. But then there's also people that I wouldn't fucking listen to. You know what I mean? And I think it's the same for each. And some people are like, "Oh, new rap, blah." Like I fucking can't stand it. But I think that if you just give it a chance, some of it anyway, like you can vibe with it. But there is like Lil Pump, not fucking with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I get it.
Glorifies drug use. A lot of times I'm not fucking with it. You know what I mean? Just because that's just how I am. There's a difference between talking about selling drugs to make money, or once in a while, talking about weed or drinking or whatever. But if you're talking about like lean and popping pills, I'm just not with it. I'm not gonna.
There's got to be a context with it, right?
Right. I'm not gonna like fucking spend my time listening to that. And like supporting that fucking artist if they're supporting that kind of shit. Just can't do it. But that being said, I do feel like there's a good group of new age artists that are fucking really dope. Now I haven't heard much from fucking Kendrick lately, which I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Hopefully he's got something coming out, like an album.
Yo, I heard he was in the studio recently, like within the last week with Dre and M.
That's what I was.
So I think they got a song or something coming soon.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that, because I really like Kendrick, and he was on like a roll 2015, 16, whatever. And then it kind of just, and that happens. I know it happens. It happened with me. It's happened with fucking almost everybody that I know that fucking make music. No matter if you're selling things, like it doesn't matter. You're still gonna have that lull, and you're gonna have to rebuild it up and shit like that, and find the creativity.
They put out the soundtrack, right, for the Black Panther too. He was super involved with that.
Yeah.
Had a lot of records on that, and I think he's maybe the exception that could do that, because I think he goes above and beyond. And I think when you get a Kendrick album, you don't get a bunch of songs that he made. I think you get a conceptual piece that the more you listen to it, you listen to Pimp a Butterfly now for the first time and feel way different than you did if you listen to it at that time. Or you can listen to it then and listen to it now and still feel different, even though you've already heard it. Like, it's just, I mean, it wouldn't pull a surprise. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
Yeah. I recently, I went back, I listened to Section 80 about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, holy shit, like, this is so fucking good.
See, I don't know.
It's 10 years old.
Yeah, I don't know if I would consider him a new artist. Were you considering him a new artist?
I mean, I say new, but like 2010 and onward is kind of new,
Yeah, gotcha.
2010 and before, we can throw that into like 90s to 2010. That's probably 20 years. And there's some fucking shitty artists in the backside of 2005 up to 2010 that came out that were just like, man, you got to give them.
There's always bad ones and good ones, man.
There was some bad ones that kind of shaped things in a good way. You know what I mean? So, and I feel like a lot of things these days, and a lot of MCs who are coming out right now in 2020 and 2021 are really trying to be focused on spreading a good message and having good bars and shit like that. There is a lot of fucking artists
at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? It's I think it's almost not accepted to not have a message or something to say.
Yeah.
Whether you like what beat it's over or not. And my take on the young thing versus the old thing, or the new thing versus the old thing, is like, there's always going to be somebody who watches the Mortal Kombat movie and acts like it's not a Scorsese film. Like, you know what you're listening to.
Yeah.
If you're listening to a fucking Migos album, you can't expect it to be Illmatic or Reasonable Doubt. Like, you made the conscious decision to listen to an artist that you know is not going to give you a certain thing. That doesn't mean they're not talented or that they're not good. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different compartments in being a good rapper, and whether you're on beat, your voice, your beat selection, how fucking animated you are when you perform. There's just so many different facets to being a good rapper that just because somebody's not spitting bars that make your head spin, like, doesn't mean that they're not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It is, a mixture of bars versus vibe, and everything kind of plays into it. But when you hear something and you're just like, what?
Yeah, some people are just really bad. Some people should just be fans and consumers.
Yeah, like Tekashi, I don't like. I don't know why anybody would even listen to that guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he has anything.
I do. He was entertaining. You know what I'm saying? That's why people listen to him. And it's to say that he's not entertaining is crazy because we all paid attention.
Yeah.
Whether we liked to or not.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what the fuck he's saying and if I should believe him, and I just couldn't. I'm like,
well, yeah. I mean, I think we found out that he was definitely doing some of the shit he was saying he was doing, but when it came time to put a stamp on it, I mean, I wasn't a fan, but to say he wasn't entertaining, I'd be lying too. I was entertained.
But here's the thing:
they're taking advantage of us by doing that.
Is this comedy rap we're talking about to be entertained, or is this, is it real shit? And I guess the genre has really just it's bent around and molded in so many different ways. You can't really put anything in a box anymore. It's like,
no, we get it all through the same publication. So you get the really dope shit through the same spot. I mean, all the hip hop blogs and publications were posting about 6ix9ine too. So it's like you have no choice but to see that is happening.
Right.
But it's a shame.
It's pretty crazy. But while we're talking about this, I always have this fucking debate with everybody who comes on here. I try to bring it up. I've had plenty of people, especially a little bit newer age people, especially when they're in their 20s and shit like that, live shows, rapping over backing vocals or no.
That's a no.
No. Now, some people will say if you have a hook part, like a specialized, chorus where it's like a little bit of
But it depends on what kind of room you're playing in. Like if you're playing at fucking Flask Lounge, which is incredible, you don't need that. If you're playing on like a massive stage with like thousands of people, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if you have like a super energetic show and the stage is the size of a fucking football field. But I mean, you're in the room and they can hear your background vocals more than they can hear you. It doesn't make sense to me. It never has.
Yeah. No. And it's very unprofessional, especially like you said, in a small ass room. It's very easy to hear it.
And generally, the guys and girls that do that, it's not mixed well anyway. So it's like it doesn't sound good to the ear. Whether or not they can perform the song on their own without it, who the fuck knows? Probably not. That's probably why they have the backing vocals. But
I think that's exactly what a lot of it boils down to is breath control and being able to move around and make it sound good. Consistency, but the people are scared of doing something live. But for me, I feel like if you're able to do it live completely and it's like a unique experience every fucking time that someone comes to see you, they're hearing the same song, but it's delivered a little bit differently every time. I think that's a way better fucking experience for people to have. They're paying to fucking see you perform it, not to hear it, as they would hear it at home or whatever. So it should be a little bit different every time or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of people will be like, yeah, no, I rap over my shit. Or I have my, I've had people tell me, I don't fuck with them no more. They were like, yo, can you make me a fucking show track? And I'm like, I mean, where are you performing? They're like, at this place, and we'll just say Biddeford. We're performing here. How big is it? Not big. Well, I don't think you need it because it's just gonna be rapping. Just have them turn your mic up. You know what I mean? And make sure your mic is nice and loud over the beat, and you'll be fucking good. No, they didn't want that. They wanted me to take the main verse part out and leave the ad libs in there, just the ad libs. So the whole fucking thing, right? So I'm like, I don't really want to do that, but I will. I'm gonna do it for you, but I'm also gonna give you the instrumental, so you can have that too if you want to do that. So they go do the fucking show, right? The first thing someone says, and the show is being recorded by somebody. First thing that says after the show was done, I think he did like 5 songs. First thing coming off stage, you can hear on the fucking cameras, like, why did you fucking have your vocals in the? It was the first thing someone asked, like, because you didn't need it. That was the thing. She was trying.
I mean, if there's like exceptions, I guess. So like, if there's like a certain part in the song where it's like a sound effect or like, you know what I mean? I've left some of those in, but as far as like every ad lib and like some to lean on, no. I mean, the hook is a different thing because if you have someone sing the hook and obviously not all the crowd knows your record, you know what I mean? Then that's different. But
I think another thing that gets overlooked too a lot of times is having like a hype man, you know what I mean? Like a Flavor Flav on stage doing the backup.
I love being a hype man. I've been a hype man to 2 different rappers, and it was honestly maybe the best learning experience.
Oh yeah,
and the most fun I've had performing.
I feel like
no pressure. If I'm not worried about forgetting his shit because I'm just doing the ad libs.
Yeah, you're just playing off each other, and like your job is to just keep it moving. And I feel like it brings just a whole nother energy. I feel like when I go see a show and I got a one rapper up there, everything, and you know, if they're dope, they're dope, and I'm not trying to take away from that. But they got a fucking hype man too that's going around throwing fucking water at people, waving a towel, in the shit. Like that just to me is hip hop, and that really is something I think like a lot of artists are missing. Like they're just them, and they just go out and do that, and they never ever, like you said, you had some experience with it, but they never ever have been a hype man or had a hype man, and they just don't know what that vibe is like. And I feel like that's an essential.
I suggest it, man. I had a fucking blast both times, and I did it for like the opposite ends of the spectrum. So I did it for Spose, who is like, I mean, an amazing rapper. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that he's not like hip hop, which is crazy to me. And then for Sin the Shaman, who people would say is like grimy underground hip hop. So I've performed with both of those guys for numerous shows. I mean, I toured the country with Ryan a couple times.
And fucking dope. And yeah, doing those shows with Spose was dope because it was obviously a big crowd, a decent sized crowd.
Yeah, it's cool to play your own set and then be able to like go have fun and wild out with him too. So like it was super dope opportunity to do.
Oh yeah. Spose is like, I mean, you know, Pav obviously for me, I have like an affinity for him just for the fact that I've worked with him so much in the past and everything.
They're both super dope, man.
But when you take and compare, I mean, what they've done, obviously Spose has done more musically and stuff like that as far as outreach and shit like that. And
I think Tommy like reached the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then Ryan had a gold record. You know what I mean? Both of those dudes are pioneers, and people waste their fucking time even trying to compare them because it's like they're not even, as far as just straight up bars. I would say Spose probably had better bars. As far as like the voice, I think Poverty has one of the most fucking iconic voice, and he was just like,
I think Pav's songwriting skills is really great. Like he could do a whole song, a hook, and like I've been in the studio with him, and I know you have too. And have you ever seen him just like sit with a beat in the studio and just go? He's like gets in his fucking zone. And he can.
This guy has like he could literally write you like a descriptive article on how lunch meat expired. Like this fucking guy he's just super descriptive and thorough, you know what I mean? But great fucking songwriter.
I've never been in a studio with Spose. I don't know like what his process is like, but I'm not taking away from his process or anything like that.
Yeah.
His bars are obviously fucking dope too, and he always knows like what to say to like, you know, get a laugh and like keep shit moving. But he's also serious in the same sense, you know what I'm saying? Where I feel like Pav was more just serious, you know what I'm saying? Where like, everything he said was like it was about it. Like he really brought you the picture, not like a Nas would do, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like
he's a really funny guy in real life. Like he's always making people laugh.
Yeah, he's always fucking trying to crack jokes. I've been all avenues with him. In the studio where he was writing and recording his own shit, I've been in the studio with him with DSP, producer DSP, tons of times. We used to hang out so much in Boston and all that shit. I've been there where he was ghostwriting for people. Yeah. Like was and like wild, bro. He was ghostwriting this shit for this other dude, like, and he would go and rap it, and then the dude would come and listen, and he would rap over, and they'd take Paul's fucking verse off. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Been down that road a few times.
Other avenue of the game people don't want to talk about.
Yeah, well, it's true. It happens. All right, I'm not calling out anybody.
Right. I get it.
Happened, and like the crazy shit about it was like so professional for him. Like it was a job. He was like, all right, we got to go here. And he's like, we're going to fuel up. We got pizza. He's like, all right, we go to the fucking place. DSP's there. He's got a bunch of beats playing. And Pav picked the fucking beats because the other guy was like, I kind of like this one. And Pav was like, he's like, let's skip it to the next one, skip it. Oh, that one. And the guy was like, all right, I'll go with it. Pav sat there for like 30 minutes. He wrote the whole fucking song, 3 verses in a hook, 30 minutes, bro.
Yeah, phenomenal writer, man. For like a lot of different genres too, though, and he could sing too.
Yeah, he could sing, and that was the thing. He didn't have. He just doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? He'll go there. You'll be like, yo, you want to? He's like, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? All right, cool, do it. So he always knew how to like he had a knack. Like you have a knack for doing music too, like not just rapping. You know what I'm saying?
We have a whole album, me, him, and Dave Gutter, that I don't think is ever gonna surface. But
I remember that you guys did a single or something, or a couple songs, and
I think there's like 13 songs or some shit.
That was the extent of it. He played a few songs for me, I think, on video chat, and like I was like, this is dope, and then it just never came out. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, super dope. Both of them, like you said, you can't compare them. They're kind of different, but they're what they've done for the fucking state is definitely a lot. And the thing about when Ryan got on, he put so many people on. You know what I'm saying? He had everybody at the record label, like you. He had fucking Educated Advocates, all those guys, and Sarah, and everybody else in between. And really trying his hardest, from what it seemed on the outside, to fucking help people out and try to get them going in the right direction. So he had all the right intentions with that. Whereas Pav, it was a different era. There was animosity with people, and I feel like people were just, maybe jealous, maybe angry. He burnt bridges. I'm not sure. But it was a whole different vibe. He tried to come back and help people out, but it wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? Right. The love wasn't there for him. And that really, I think, hindered what he was trying to do. And then the whole record label thing, when they kind of shelved this because they ran out of money promoting whack motherfuckers over him, which I have no fucking idea why they wouldn't put an album that had production from Eric Sermon and The Alchemist out over Stagger Lee and Smiles and South Star. I have no fucking idea. Okay, I don't know. Like, that's something that me and him have talked about so many times. We can't figure out, no matter what we fucking why. Like, what, not to take away from those people's singles that went gold, whatever, but that could have been Pav. And I think that if they would have went with Pav, he could have put that whole album out and might have gone a little bit further than those guys. Not saying he would have been like a platinum artist or something, but I feel like at least his music would have resonated a little bit more at that time, especially.
It definitely would have been in more people's ear for sure.
Yeah. And the way he was promoting too. Remember when we went to that show, he was opening for who was that for? We were at the State Theater, Justin. Was it who the fuck? What show was that, dude? Paul was opening. He came out front of the fucking show. He was so short. He came out front of the show and he was carrying a crate of records. And
is that Evidence? Did Dilated Peoples?
Yeah, Dilated Peoples show.
Yeah. Fucking Evidence.
And he came from around the corner, out front of the State Theater. We were waiting in line, and I looked, and I was like, I hadn't met him at that point, so I looked, and I'm like, that's fucking Paul, dude. I was like, that's him right there. Look how short he is, bro. I was like, it's gotta be. Because that's all I knew. Is like I knew he was really short. And I'm like,
it was Bad Manners with him that night.
Yes, Bad Manners was with him. Yeah, and they just killed it too. I was
like, he's a dope performer too. To touch on that though, he had a mean street team too. Because I saw Usher, Kanye West, and John Legend at the Garden in Boston. And when I was leaving, he had a street team running around passing out the Wonder Bread mixtape.
Yeah, the white bread.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I got that. That's on my shelf right over here.
I just grabbed it and got in the car, put it in. I was like, no shit, this dude's from fucking Maine. This is wild.
Tycoon made all those beats. Tycoon. At one point when that came out, I had a box, bro, so fucking big of those, and I was down on Old Orchard Beach just frisbeeing them off to people like yo, you got to go hand these out. But when he saw us that day, like when he walked past everybody, he had those poverty stickers. They had that logo, and he was just fucking giving them to everybody when he walked by and shit like that, and just like snickering. Like he didn't say nothing. He was being all weird, like a little fucking gnome, handing out stickers. I'm like, what the fuck is up with this guy? And then he got on the fucking show and just killed it. I was like, wow, this guy is wild. And then
new artist. Who's your favorite new artist in Maine? Hip hop.
In Maine?
Yeah.
Relatively new. I'm not sure. Just Plain Jones.
Yeah.
Just Plain Jones.
ferocious.
I fucking love Just Plain Jones.
I don't
I
think
don't
he lives
know.
in New York, though.
Huh?
I think he lives in DC. I think he
Really?
moved. Yeah,
Oh, he
I don't
moved,
think he lives in Maine anymore. But yeah, incredible fucking talent.
I really like him, and that kid, A Lunar Landing too. I really like him. I did a little EP with him.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt.
Yep, I like Miles Ballin, but he's been around for a while. It's another guy that I really like. But yeah, really, I don't know. I kind of have a thing for A Lunar Landing just because I worked with him. I would say he's relatively new. He put out a couple fucking albums, so he's been around a couple years, but he's always dope and consistent. And I like how he really takes his time with his shit. And he's got a unique sound too, so I like that.
He's the super artistic guy, humble guy too, super dope.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think
He was like
Ben Dead is probably who doesn't even really work anymore, who is absolutely hands down the best rapper in the state of Maine. If he wanted to be, he just discovered that he could probably make a shit ton more money if he's singing. Other than that, I would say Matt Giard is phenomenal, and it seems like he's going more of like a punk rock alternative R&B type of sound, which is working.
Fellow Arundel alumni. Yeah, he's from Arundel, like me.
Fucking incredibly talented guy.
Super dope. I wouldn't consider him too new though. I mean, he's been like 5-6 years. He's been fucking doing shit. He just evolved.
Ray Armani. Ray Armani is super dope. I think
Dre.
He's a young cat. Yeah, I don't think he's any older than like 23.
Yeah, super young cat. Super dope, talented. Songwriter too. He really writes those songs. Like he doesn't just put out content. Content. He takes his time with it too. I like that. Shout out Lucifer. Lucifer's here. He says bars.
Blue.
Shit. So we talked about rapping over vocals. Yeah. All right. So, what are some of like your favorite songs or projects that you ever released? Like, if you had to pick, let's just say it this way: if you had to pick, one project to show to somebody, if they were like, "Give me your best fucking thing," that would just, really describe you in a nutshell. What would you show them?
Oh damn. Probably one that's already out. Probably Vibe, I guess. I mean, there's a bunch of joints on Sorry I'm Trash that I probably, knowing what I know now, would probably take off there and make it a smaller project, and I'd feel more comfortable giving that to somebody, being like, here, this is me. But I think the joint I did with Chan, he produced the whole thing, was like, I think I paid the most attention to, from start to finish, creating that album. And I think it's because Chan is so particular, and I always tell him he's a hater because like he can listen to a record that is incredible and just be like, wow, what a shitty mix. Things to him is like, I'm always ready for him to be super critical about it. Not to mention he's just fucking, as a project as a whole, I would say that one, to make a long story short.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, what would you say though is like, I mean, I looked briefly on your thing, but what do you think is your most popular song? Is it Wave, you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, plays wise, yeah. The radio got behind it, you know what I mean? And that was one of those moments where I was like shocked. Didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, it was a great fucking song that summer. They played it like fucking every hour or two. I remember hearing it for a while.
Yeah, it was wild, man. You know what I mean? I ended up having a meeting, sitting down with somebody that makes way too much money to be sitting down at a table with me. That was just like, this could pop off. Like, you got to be ready. You got to have this ready. And I was just not ready. You know what I mean? At all.
Like,
so that's tell you the truth.
Damn.
And I think it's a blessing in disguise, because I don't think I would want to be successful because of that record. I love that record, but to be like a rapper's rapper and an MC's MC, and you know what I mean, have so many songs that are just, and to take away from that one, I don't think would be a good move.
But to have that one come along after you've blown up would be a
and I love that record, and I love being in that headspace where I could create any kind of record that I want to create. You know what I mean? I don't ever feel like I'm in a box, and I don't think I'll ever enjoy that. So
yeah, no, it shows with the music you make. It's definitely not in a box at all. It's always like I said, it's always thinking outside the box and stepping outside the boundaries.
I think everybody should try it.
Yeah,
Whether you release it or not, I think you should at least try it, because like, who the fuck do you know who you are unless you try to do something dope?
exactly.
Other than that, you're just emulating somebody else.
Yeah, like I know I suck at painting because I tried it. Like
Right.
people
No
I
doubt,
brought
right. I think
figures.
I'll skip out on eating the old meat. I'll just accept not being bad at that. I'm good at that.
Yeah. But so all right, Vibe. All right, I love that record. I have that around here so too somewhere. I know I got Rise by any means,
I
but
appreciate that.
I have records sitting around here. Not that too many people listen to CDs anymore because I got everything on fucking Spotify. But those particular 2 albums I had to buy. I went to fucking Boomoo specifically to fucking buy
Cheers
those.
to that, man. I appreciate you for that.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit random discussion. So like, is there anything from your time out, you know, touring around, whatever, that's just been super wild, something that sticks out maybe in your head that went down, any crazy legendary stories that you can speak about? You know, because sometimes we have crazy.
Yeah, no, I was on tour with Spose. I think Channing was there. I think there was a couple other people with us, but he played a show in Cleveland, and we showed up and like walked into the venue to load in, and there was like UFC, like MMA fights going on.
Yeah.
And then there was like another room, and you went through that room, and there was like a punk rock festival. And then you went into another room, and there was like some type of fucking vendor there. And then you go into another, this is all one building. You go into another room, and it's like the size of the fucking State Theater all the way in the back. So I'm like, this is fucking wild. Because I mean, he brings out a lot of fucking people in every city, but to play a show the size of the State Theater in Cleveland is like a bit much for anybody, like a traveling act, really. You know what I mean? At that level.
Yeah.
And then I thought that was crazy, but then we go downstairs into like the green room, and they had like sex rooms. So they had like, it was all sectioned off, and they had like
it's on the rider, right?
Yeah, like a Tom and Jerry fucking like a trap that would go over a mouse, but it was like human sized, and they had like a stripper pole inside of it, and it was on wheels, and had like velvet couches, and then there was rooms down there that like all the lights were off, and like it was some fucked up. It was a weird spot. I wish I remember the name of it, but I don't. Shout out to the person working in the kitchen who made me tea, because she was a sweetheart.
That's wild and crazy. Yeah, there's definitely been some stories. I you know, have some legendary stories. There was a time where I don't know if I told the story before on here. I might have, but the Killer Priest story, where we had Killer Priest was doing a show at the billiard spot down there on fucking St. John by the Greyhound, whatever. Actually, Dave Gutter was there that night. Chip Sullivan was there promoting the show, and there was a bunch of local guys. A bunch of people from 3 Deep Entertainment was there, like J30. People like were doing a show there. Killer Priest, right, was at Margaritas, and I was like super starstruck. Chip was like, "Yo, Killer Priest," da da da. So for like, I knew for like 3 weeks that he was coming to do the show, and I was all like, "Oh, you know, this fucker did basic instructions before leaving Earth." I'm like, God damn, like holy fuck, like this guy's a legend, right? I'm like, God damn. So like we finally get this opportunity. He hits up Chip. He's like, I'm over here at this place. You come over here and have a fucking drink with me. So me and Chip and Bad Manners and Dave Gutter and yeah, a couple other people go over there. He's sitting at the fucking bar. Nobody knows who he is. He's just at. And we walk up, start talking to him, and I can't say anything. It's just like staring at the guy. You know, I feel like a fucking weirdo. It's just like, you know, and he's talking to Chip. They're talking about doing this show, and he's talking whatever. He buys everybody a fucking drink. I'm not even old enough to drink. I'm just like, whatever. So, like, he was like, looks at around, and Chip was like, hey, this guy was a really big fan of yours. He's like a producer. He makes beats and shit. And he just like looked at me right off and was just like, yo, what's good? Like, you know, what's happening? What's your name? And I just couldn't say shit. I was just like, yo. And then I looked at Chip, and Chip was like, yo, this is Obese, man. This is Obese the Prophet. He's like, he makes beats, and he's like, really dope or whatever. And then I kind of snapped out of it, and I was like, yo, you're one of the dopest MCs ever. I was like, that shit you did on Basic Instructions was just so wild. And he like looked me straight in my face, like so sincere, and he was like, that's one of the greatest compliments I've ever had.
Wow.
And I was like, That's freaking dope, dude. And then
you connect with somebody like that. I don't think there's like a level of success that you get to where somebody can say something that like, because I think as an artist you all have like a favorite piece or like something you feel like got overlooked or like a bar that you're like you play it for somebody and they just like you're like, yo, did you not hear what I just said? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's always those moments. So when people recognize that, I think it always brings you down a little bit to a certain level.
Yeah, I just felt like he was like so humble, and the coolest thing about it was, we went about our drinks, we went back for the show. I helped Chip run the sound and the lights. After the show, he's like, "Yo, you want to come to the studio?" He had a studio out on Warren Ave, and yeah, he's like, "Let's go." So we came to the fucking studio, and we threw down out there. We were partying until like it was fucking late. Everybody was there. City Soul, fucking, everybody came, was taking pictures, snapshots. Guns was there. Absolutely everybody, and it was a great fucking time. Blacked out. Don't even remember some of the night. You know what I mean? That's a fucking legendary story. For me anyway. Like that's one of the I don't know. That's one of the greatest stories I had. Although I don't remember it so much. I remember like being there and, I don't remember absolutely every detail. It was so fucking long ago. But what I do remember is how humble he was and how easy you see someone, they're just like us, I know this now, but being a young kid, it's like, you're like, what the fuck? But now they're just like anybody else. And for him to just make it easy, you know what I'm saying? And not be like it goes a long way for people, and it really just stuck with me over the years. And now I follow him on Instagram, and I hit him up on Instagram. I commented, I was like, "Hey, you remember the show you did out in Portland, Maine?" And he was like, "Yeah, I remember." I was like, "You were over at Margaritas?" And he's like, "Yep." And then I was like, "You remember talking to me about how you were the best MC ever?" And he's like, "Yeah, I remember." And he's like, "That guy who, the crazy guy who promoted the show, he called him a crazy guy, Chip."
Yeah.
With the wild hair, he said. And I was like, yeah, that guy. He was like, he put the show on at the pool hall, he called it.
Great fucking memory.
Yeah, and he was like recalling everything. I'm like, wow, that's crazy that he would remember that. And he's like pushing 50, I think, almost now.
That's a great cognitive.
But shout out to Killer Priest, because he gets left off a lot of shit, and he was instrumental to that early fucking Wu-Tang shit. And I feel like that song he did, basing it, that if you just take that one song and that's the only song he ever did, amazing. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, let's see, what do we got? You got any new upcoming stuff? I know you said you got that shit that's on the wall. You got a couple of fucking projects already going. But do you have anything coming out soon that you want people to know?
I just put out Greener Grass and shot a video for that, which is like kind of the direction I think my solo stuff will go in. That sound of it all. But I mean, I've George, produced by George is what he goes by now. That will be coming out. That's done. I mean, we really just need to get into the same room, and he's busy, I'm busy. Once we get into the same room and knock down a track list and a direction that we want to go, and then my solo stuff, if I had to be honest with you, probably be out in the fall.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of collaborative projects that will be coming out, and then I did a bunch of features recently. One for Sydney the singer, who was incredible. We went and shot a video for that, and that comes out this month. I think on the 27th. Don't shoot me if that's wrong, but I think it's on the 27th.
That'll be dope. That'll be dope. Looking forward to that. Yeah, she's a dope singer.
Yeah, she's incredible and hungry too. She got all the tools.
Wants to work.
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of wrapping up at this point. I mean, do you have anything that in mind that you'd want to play? If we want to play a couple songs from what you got, either already out or not out, something, whatever, you could let us know.
I mean,
we'll play.
I'll let you just Russian roulette it again, man. I mean, I think I have a lot of albums, and even listening to Full Circle on there was kind of like I haven't heard that joint in a long time. I don't really listen to my albums after I put them out.
Yeah, I could play a couple songs. I really like that Separated at Birth record, but we'll come back to that. Let's see. Let me see. Why don't I play Sleeping on Me? Because I mean, you're on there, and that's Shamik is on there, and everybody too. So, and plus I made the beat, so we might as well just play it for people. I know Lucifer's still in here.
Game on, and then if this will work, I'll play a verse I did the other day, just because I don't really care. But yeah, go ahead, play that. I want to hear it.
So let's play "Sleeping on Me." I'll just set up a little bit. It's Shamik the Gods featuring OD and Shane Reis. And I made the beat, and it's on our EP that we put out. What was it? 2020. Mid 2020, we put it out. "Sleeping Giant" is the name of the album. So yeah, check it out. I love this fucking song, by the way. It's like I was reciting your verse earlier. I know everybody's verses, so but I just it was one of the it was the first song that we ever did together, the only one so far, but I'm sure there'll be more. But yeah, just that was called "Sleeping on Me."
Like I am now listening to Above Big Big.
Miss me with that Willie bicycle. That talk is really gossip. Preaching like a fucking prophet, but not to fill my pockets. Don't know what the dealie is. These cops is ill and killing kids. Most these women tripping, trying to trick me, but I'm slick as shit. Ain't got nothing for me. You don't know me, homie. Hit the brick. I put all the work and you just lurking. Shit's ridiculous. Sleeping giant, climbing with the mountain lions viciousness. People find it I'm a fucking tyrant. Leave no witnesses. Knocking on the door, so hit the floor, cause fucking hell is home. Hit you in that melon zone with that fucking shelling phone, just to fucking set the tone. I'm better off left alone and let the fucking record shown. I'll be the most slept upon. They sleeping on me like nightmares. They creeping on me. They speaking on me. I'm right here. I see you, homie. They sleeping on me like nightmares. They creeping on me. They speaking on me. I'm right here. I see you, homie.
The has-been who never was what you ask around. I matched wits with these bastards and I smashed it, fucking held my ground. Orders from the backwoods, looking backwards, now I see no crown. Passion for this action, enough energy to feed a crowd. When you get it back, it's like everything just evens out. Imagine taking all your bad shit, you just bleed it out. Leave it on the stage, see these people really see you now. Maybe you're an equal to these MCs that you read about. But weekend's over, back to work to get you checking. But you remember those moments for like a half a second, where you owned it, felt the magic and felt connected. But played a role, they don't know you got a secret weapon screaming in your brain like a tantrum, cause it needs attention. Need to feed the beast for it eats you from the wrong direction. Maybe that's just me, I believe it, I need acceptance, but I can burn it too, so fuck them, I don't need a set list. I wrestle with it all the time, don't get the wrong impression. They wanna sleep, wanna shine, I stand behind the record. To sleep a chance to dream another style to come correct with. Pigeonhole me all you want, germs will get the antiseptic. I can't stand how stupid shit's the fastest trending, or how I can't seem to finish things that I'm intending, or breaking even, or just getting less than I'm investing. But that's the nature of the beast, at least I'm not pretending.
They sleeping on me like nightmares. They creeping on me. They speaking on me. I'm right here. I see you, homie. They sleeping on me like nightmares. They creeping on me. They speaking on me. I'm right here. I see you, homie.
All they ever did was doubt it. Got no red balloons, I never gave a fuck about it. Thirsty asses sipping with their lips on the fountain. Wouldn't have any fans if none of their cousins counted. I mean, damn. I used to wait on the outcome. It's light work, I figured out that they wasn't about nothing. I let the words speak and I guess they let the mouth run. I drew up this play though, yeah, this is the route run. I command the crowd even when my mind is crowded. My idle brain's a tidal wave, so I take flight or stay. But either way, I give an eye a way to say I find a way. Oh, they want the day and time, but when did I get the time of day? So I don't do accommodated. They didn't write a rhyme a date, and if they did, it's all the same shit. They playing Simon's game. Just keep it on mute. That's all I gotta say. And I don't gotta say it because I'm fluid in the body language. Everybody's busy. Being busy is a good thing. But don't be busy until you see that it's a good thing.
They sleeping on me like nightmares. They creeping on me. They speaking on me. I'm right here. I see you, homie. They sleeping on me like nightmares. They creeping on me. They speaking on me. I'm right here. I see you, homie.
So yeah, that I hadn't heard that in a while either.
Yeah, me neither, man.
But yeah, you know, OG just always goes off. He was like, "How long can my verse be?" I said, "However long you want it to be, dude." I'll extend.
I have a whole album he came over here and recorded, and
he was telling me.
Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do with it. I still have the files though.
I have like 3 songs he recorded at my house too. I still have all the files. He hasn't hit me up yet. There was a song, he called it Track 5. That was the name of it. But I loved it. He played it for me at my house, and I'm like, bro, you need to re-record this. Like, I don't know where you recorded it and or whatever, but it was just so dope. Like, you need to
recorded it at my house, and he was like, yo, I literally just want to hear it on my ride home. So I was like, all right, I just bounced out the fucking Bravo.
Yeah, no, that fucking song, I don't know who made that beat, and the way that he rapped on that, it was so dope. Reminded me of like Everlast shit. It was just like nuts. He always goes off, dude. He's always so dope with everything he does.
I think I know exactly which record you're talking about too, because I like that one too.
Yeah, the beat is like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, some like weird singing shit,
some weird ass shit, and he's just like singing the whole time, like the way this matter fuck me. Like he's just going off the whole time, and I'm like, damn, he never stops. Like it's no like really like a hook or anything. He just goes the whole fucking time. But he's super dope too, and everything that he does.
No doubt. All right, man, I'll play you something new. I don't know if this is the right file or not, but I just made this shit the other day, and I haven't pressed play on it since, so see if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
I gotta take my time. You can hit my line if you need me, cause I'm all full of it, don't need an audience. No, this is solo act. An only child, not greedy. Living in the light ain't easy. Even in the light can't see me. I hide from whatever feels like leave. It's a pivotal moment. Give me a second, give me a moment. It's a pivotal moment. Give me a second. Plans on display on my window pane. Yeah, I know the subtle changes, and I missed a couple payments, but I pay attention to the brain. Look, I discovered angles that I myself was making, and the chances I was taking left my outlook in paper thin, cause my outlook only came from it. But if I'm in the shit, then what's the out for if I'm not breaking it? If I can't outsource, then what I've taken it. Look, I wasn't hearing nothing you were saying, and I'm sorry, and I mean no disrespect, but what's your name again? Sometimes I don't get the picture unless I'm framing it. Dark days, part ways. It takes a lot of energy to partake. Sometimes I need to learn this shit the hard way. It's over and over. Don't say that I never told you, man. I gotta take my time. You can hit my line if you need me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love it. It's cool. I would just like do things and let the fucking and let the beat breathe, you know what I mean? And not just be like always in there and just having time to like kind of just bounce around on shit. And I love the beats that have like the chorus or the choir, the vocals chopped up. I love shit like that. I make a lot of shit that has shit like that in there these days. Shit is sounding fucking dope.
Yeah, that's pretty much the direction I'm headed in. If anybody on here gives a fuck.
Oh yeah, they give a fuck, and also I got that helps me out a lot. You know why? Because I'm gonna send you a bunch of fucking beats. Even though
now's the time, because I've been getting back into it, so now's the time.
Because I think you fucking owe me a single, so we're gonna fucking make it.
I do, man. I missed last week, so I told you I'd do whatever it takes.
Nah, it's cool, but I am gonna set you up with a little folder of some beats that are, along the lines of shit like what we just heard right there. It's gonna be hip hop, but like it's different. It's gonna be R&B style. It's gonna be, pop kind of style stuff. Shit that, like we just listened to, and basically like greener grass, that shit, like everything that you do with Fozy is always fucking awesome.
Actually, that made that beat that I just played. So
yeah, no, that one's dope too. But I'm just saying, everything you ever do with George too is always fucking dope and has that sound. But Dap is coming along with the fucking beats, bro.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
because it's it's not easy to get to have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you start later on to just jump into it like that and to be.
He has a great ear, man.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key right there.
No doubt.
Let's play one more from you off of that DAP album that you did with
Right.
with him. So I got Separated at Birth, and the song I want to play is 30 to Infinity because it's another dope one.
Yeah, that was a dope feel. That was awesome. I like that.
Yeah, so let's play that 30 to Infinity off Separated at Birth by DAP and Shane Ross.
Hey.
Bottles clang. Cling. Ching. Okay, we come through unglued. We do what we want to. You did it, we undo. By the night like the sun's new. Call me finish lines, they come too for that run through. You paid for fun at what we get paid to come to. Used to come here and they would ask me for ID, but now they find me in the Uber offer to drive me. Blankets cost big money, we don't pay covers. They talk about the who is who, but they don't say others. Supreme on my frail frame, we don't even wear chains. Light it up or bright enough, ooh, you need to tighten up. They smile and say yes when they don't even like the stuff. $1,000 shirt thrown at it just to wipe it up, cause we don't get messy. We woke up like this, no, we don't get ready. We so smooth and steady. They not an honorage, just me for the honorage. And I make it look dope, and no matter what kind of car. Whole bottles at the bar, only genre is noir. And they say that they love us, but it's only cause who we are. And I see it, just know that I'm not blind to that. So salt tears to dab, sometimes remind them that. Ooh. My 411s, phone number, salaries, got Kobe cloth, Mamba mentality, bigger than the fashion. When I was a kid, an Ishi sweatsuit got me looking like your Uncle Biz. 30 now, but still I get ID'd. I just be the first guy to get his third Odyssey. Born to fly, but they wanna clip my wings. New flavor from the tailor that said I was fit for king. You know the stilo, hot below zero. Talk of the town, he know, she know. Not an if, just a matter of the when. Waiting on the first one, but I'm back at it again. Raise the bar just so I can set the trend. My right hand never left eye. What about your friends? Not too common that the man stays scheming, but my first name Ben and my last name dreaming death.
I just love that beat too. Like it just reminds me of like a 50s private detective movie, you know, or like of the 30s or 40s. Fuck that shit was, you know, when they had them, you know what I mean? That's exactly what the horns and shit. I'm just like got that vibe, like you creeping down the back streets with your fucking.
I think that was the only record on that. That was the only song on that whole record that we made at the time. So like I drove down there to Boston. We were mixing a couple other joints, and like that beat came on, and I had parts of that verse for it, but
the beat was sick, and I love how it just leads in. You don't really know what's happening for a little bit. You're like, oh, what the fuck is this? Kind of like.
I'm like, yo, that's like the sexiest, most confusing intro of all time.
Yeah, like I said, it reminded me of like I was about to watch like a movie like that.
Right.
Like some fucking shit like out of that fucking Call of Duty shit that they had back a little. They were like playing that fucking private detective shit. It's like the same vibe like that. It's very hard to capture, and you do it. Yeah. You've done it more than once. That same sound, like that vibe, on that album, and it's weird. I don't know who the fuck did the beats, if they were the same dude or not, but it's just the way you make shit fucking flow is incredible. But yeah, you know, that's pretty much the show. I mean, we pretty much got through it. If there's any final shout outs that you want to shout out, anybody, plugs or anything like that, this would be
I mean, I just really have one. My mom. Shout out to my mom. She's the greatest mom of all time.
Shout out to all moms. Shout out to all moms today. So
yeah, all moms, happy Mother's Day.
Mother of my children, because she's incredible too.
Of course. But yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having a great conversation with us.
Sorry last week didn't work, but I'm glad we could fix it this week.
Yeah,
For
we're
sure,
good.
for sure.
No worries, man. But yeah, if you want to stick around, we'll end the stream. If you want to stick around and talk for a second, we could do that. But yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And if you didn't check it out live, you missed out. But we'll be back next week. I think we got Shamik the God in here, and we'll have some conversation with him that will be, incredible as usual. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Take it easy.